Welcome to Biblical Christian Content, where we like to keep the content biblical. Let's go.
Because your feelings and your surface level attraction is what is governing and guiding. Because you really don't want gospel-centered, Christ-exalting, God-honoring. You just want to not be alone anymore. But there's a second issue at play when we ignore these. And that second issue is this: we do not trust in the providence of God. And so I've got one here. No, it's probably not a good one, but it's here. And I'm going to hold on because I don't believe that anything better will ever show up. And I'm going to hold on because I don't believe that anything better will ever show up. And I don't trust God enough to let go of what even He says is not good for me. It's a lack of faith. Better to spend the rest of your life by yourself than in a miserable marriage that is not God-honoring, not gospel-centered, not Christ-exalting. The second thing. So the first one, make sure that what we're attracted to is real. Second one, make sure that we're protected. Make sure that we're protected. And this helps us to do the first. Boaz was protected by the presence of others. Go back to the first part of the text, in verse 14. And at mealtime, Boaz said to her, "Come here and eat some bread and dip your morsel in the wine." So he took her off alone where they could be by themselves. No. So she sat beside the reapers and he passed to her roasted grain. Boaz was protected by the presence of others. There is a tendency in our day, and hear me carefully on this. There is a tendency in our day, to think about courtship and romance and relationships as just being about the two of us. We've already said that there is a danger, and one of the dangers is that you get blinded by what you see because you don't have a full view. Another danger is you get blinded by what you feel and then become unwilling to see anything else. And if you couple this blindness with a lack of accountability from others, you find yourself in a perfect storm. People bring you a troubling report, and your tendency is to look at everyone, young people, I'm talking to you, to look at everyone as haters. Here are godly people who are coming to you saying, "You know what, you say you see that. I know this person. I don't see that. I have not seen that. Haters gonna hate." Because your feelings and your surface level attraction is what is governing and guiding. Because you really don't want gospel-centered, Christ-exalting, God-honoring. You just want to not be alone anymore. And you just want this person that you find attractive on a surface level. So you will ignore all evidence to the contrary. The greatest, most poignant statement that I've ever heard on this issue was from Alistair Begg. Alistair Begg is from Scotland. He's a preacher in the United States. And he's got this wonderful Scottish accent that I won't dare try to duplicate. But Alistair was talking about, specifically young women, but also young men and young women going out trying to find a mate on their own without any sort of help or supervision or guidance. And he says, just a few years ago, you couldn't pick out your own socks by yourself. Now you're going to go pick out a husband? What is wrong with us? You don't think you need people who know you as well as or better than you know yourself to watch your back on something this significant? Where emotions get all involved and tied up and tangled up and twisted up and you get blinded and you can't see straight. And you think that's when you need to be alone? Help you? God forbid. That's when we should be begging for help. Help me. Because I want this girl so bad I can't see straight. I need somebody with good eyes right now. Help me, because this man is just I can't be honest and objective in my evaluation. I need somebody who loves me and who's not tied up emotionally with this to see. So many relationships today happen under the cover of darkness. And they only come to light when it's too late.
All right, welcome back, Biblical Christian Content. This testimony I'm going to give has to do with me and how God providentially worked in my life to answer my prayer and help me to steer clear from something or someone, I should say, and a member of the opposite sex. And in the next video that I put out, I plan to put out a testimony of how when I went and spoke to a brother in the Lord about a certain relationship or two and how he responded to it. All this stuff virtually parallels Voddie Baucham's teaching. It's weird when God works something out in your life and down the road you hear a preacher or a pastor or a Bible verse, whatever, and it's just like, it's exactly what God worked out in your life. It just like almost mimics it exactly. And I'll start off with this testimony. I'll try to keep it brief. There was a girl who started attending my old church, and she actually struck up conversation with me, and we got along very well. She was really fun to be around. You know, I don't have any hard feelings towards her or nothing like that at this point, and I don't think she has any towards me. When we started talking, we went out maybe just a handful of times, less than a handful, excuse me. I would say we went out maybe 2 times, 3 times tops. And basically my whole thing being in desiring to be a godly man, I really desire a wholesome, humble, godly woman. And I don't care how you look, and it's easy to find a girl out there in the world. It's easy to stumble across a woman in the world who's very attractive outwardly. And if you find someone like that and they find you attractive as well outwardly, there can always be that foolish initial attraction. There's nothing wrong with being attracted to your significant other, but it has to be someone that's in the Lord, someone that's born again. That's what I desire. You know, you can be as beautiful as you want on the outside. If you don't have the Spirit of God inside of you, then we don't have the rest in common, right? So we started talking. We went out just a couple of times. It was really fun being around her. She really liked me. I really liked her. We got along well. Even down to politics, like conservative politics and all that. You know, we hit it off. And my whole thing was I was concerned about godliness. I was concerned about, let's say, a lifelong future with a woman who's going to be godly, who naturally is inclined by the Spirit to obey the word of God. I'm not here for the show and tell. If you go back to the first video, that's what Voddie says. You have to make sure, are you seeing who this person is for real, or just who they are showing you? Is this who they really are, or is this just what they're showing you? So now I got to praise to God. Listen to this testimony. One Sunday after church, me and that girl are talking. A woman comes over, an older woman in the Lord at my church who knows me. She comes over, and the girl I was talking to says, "Hey, I know her too. My family knows her." So when the older woman had come over to say hello, I said to her, "Hey, I know you know her family." And the woman was like, "Yeah, her family is good people." So I said to her, "Oh, her family's good people. I guess then I'm in good hands as well. You know, I guess I'm in good company." That's what I said. I guess I'm in good company then. So long story short, this is how God provides. I love to pray about everything. It's so important that we pray about everything. Bring things to the Lord. And if you earnestly desire guidance, he will show up. Check this story out. A week later, next Sunday, the woman comes to me. She says, "Brother, I need to talk to you." I said, "Okay, what's up?" She goes, "Listen, I was so convicted last week. When I left the church, I was in my car, and I feel like God convicted me so hard that I wanted to turn the car around and drive back to church to talk to you." She said, "I had to come and find you. I had to talk to you because I don't want to mislead you." She said, I gave the impression last week that I could vouch for this girl that you were talking with. And brother, that's just not the case." She said, "Yes, I know her family, but her, I do not know if she's someone that I can recommend to you." She said, "I was so convicted. I felt so bad. I did not, and I could not vouch for her. And I just had to make sure I come and tell you that I cannot vouch for her. I know her family, but her, I cannot I can't give my approval, and I didn't want to mislead you. I felt so convicted." I just cut the woman off right there. I was like, listen, what you're telling me is not a bad thing. What you're telling me is what I needed to hear, because I had questions anyway. So for you to feel conviction in your heart that when you spoke up and kind of said that, yeah, maybe I am in good company because her family is good company, that now you had that godly conviction to seek me out and tell me that that's not the case, and you don't know that to be the case, and that God put it on your heart, that I shouldn't go off that, and that you can't recommend her, or I just cut her off and said, listen, that is everything that I needed to hear. I needed to hear what you just said. So now I'm going to apply that conviction that you had. I'm going to look at the fact of how I was praying and how God provides, and the fact that God spun you around and caused you to come to me and give me this wise counsel. Like, you're an older woman in the Lord, and God used her as a vessel to speak unto me in my situation. And it was a blessing, and it guided me and kept me away from going down the road with that girl. And I have no problem with that girl, but I knew it wasn't God's calling and will for me to be with her. I know what I seek, and I know what I desire, and I desire is what God put in my heart to desire, and that's a truly born-again woman. God bless you all. Praise to God, right? Like, share, comment, sub for the Algo Biblical Christian content. God bless.